Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer M Garnatz. I was born in the Caribbean island of Jamaica, but I've been residing in Germany for many, many years. I have always been writing poetry ever since I was a little girl. Growing up in Jamaica, I listened to pop songs from America, England, Jamaica, and most of the lyrics were about romance, love. So when I started writing at the age of around 7 or 8, my lyrics, then they were naturally also about love. Over the years, my father was murdered when I was 20 or just before my 20th birthday. And that changed the theme of my poems, that they became more social conscious about death, about life, about problems of society. Growing up without a mother, my father was the main person in my life. And then suddenly he was no longer there, and I was sort of thrown out into the world. But he gave us a lot of advice. He always sent us to church. He was too busy to go to church, or too tired, I should say, because he worked mostly nights. So my first poem is about God. And I write different themes, from sex to politics to death to life, nature, religion. So today I will give you a cross-section of the different poems I write about. I write mainly the first person because simply from childhood I loved reading books which were written in the first person. So not everything I write about was actually experienced by me. But anyway, this poem, Calling God, sort of shows my emotions. God, I hear many voices inside my head. I cannot identify the different voices pulling me in various directions, telling me, do this, do that, shouting at me, don't do this, don't do that, commanding me, come here, go there. Which one of them is your voice, God? Many doors are open to me. I can only go through one. But there are voices inside, voices beyond each door, calling my name, bidding me, inciting me, daring me, advising me, commanding me, beckoning me, inviting me, demanding of me, pleading with me to step over the threshold, to enter beyond the unknown. I know you are there, God. From beyond which door are you calling me? God, I want to be good to myself and to all mankind. I want to say and write only good about and to all mankind. Yet, when my earthly peers ask, instruct, or command me to do, say, or write certain things, which though not evil seem somewhat hard to some, I feel compelled to grant the favor. I feel obliged to carry out the instruction. I sense it as my duty, my responsibility to fulfill the command. The wish, even though voices say, that's hard, soften it up, ignore that wish, pretend you didn't hear that command. That's a stupid instruction. I still do what I'm told, because there are other voices somewhere in my head placating me, murmuring, it's okay, go ahead, you are a mere messenger. Am I, really? Where is my own voice amidst all this madness of strange voices residing in my head? Where is my own voice amidst all this madness of strange voices competing to take over my brain? Why can't I identify my own conscience? Why can't I defy those voices that mean me no good? Why can't I recognize your voice, God? For those I've heard in the past, through speech actions, writings. If I did not like, admire, and respect you, I would never have let you get so close to me. Please accept my sincere apology for all the pain I've caused thee. I am deeply, deeply sorry. Believe me, it was not meant intentionally. God, I don't want to hurt anyone physically. God, I don't want to hurt anyone emotionally. God, please raise your voice high above the other voices, so in future I'll know which voice to follow and never be confused anymore, and never make bad decisions anymore, and never hurt anyone anymore. God, please raise your voice high above the other voices droning in my schizophrenic head, so in future I can only follow your divine voice instead. That poem was from my book, which I wrote years ago, titled Romantically Erotic, Deadly Spiritual Society. There are two versions of this book with just slightly different contents. I'll be doing some poems from the book as well as some new poems. The next one is one of the new ones titled The Flow. Flowing through your brain, your soul grasped my intellectual being, igniting a fire within, lusting for my without. I see it in your eyes, the wanting. I sense it in the depth of my heart, the waiting, not wanting to wait, to take me here and now. The regretting, impossible in this crowded place, the sighing, wondering, when will you get the chance to make your move? The anxiety, not knowing, will I agree? Another romantic poem, Empty Words. We all have ups and downs in our relationships, so this is one. We were so happy. Why was Pandora's box opened? Which one of you rekindled the flame? You're giving your love to your ex again. But I do love you. These words you say to me often. Many never hear them, or much too seldom. I was always proud that you were never too proud to say to me, I love you. For some time now, they're only meaningless words. Why? There are times people only recognize after someone has died how much they really loved that person. My next poem, titled Prophecy. In a dream, a youthful, sad creature, clothed in black fire and white clouds, floated before my eyes. In a dream, my spirit saw the water fall from your submerged eyes, trickling down your softening cheeks. It gushed when your brain told your heart it was my body lying there, mutilated, naked amongst charcoal. Bits of me you can no longer see. Why didn't you cover me with your love? Why hadn't you protected me? Your heart thought it would have had time. My reincarnated body will find you gone. Now I am an angel. Next poem is titled Comforter. Seeking comfort wandered my troubled mind. Like a hermit, I talked to the mountains, My voice cried to be answered, even to hear its echo. The salty lake overflowed daily, down my narrow sun-baked cheeks, flowing beneath the crevices of my milky breasts. Then you came, comforter, stay, please stay. As I mentioned before, I was raised by a single father. He was extremely strict. I suppose it's because he didn't want me to get pregnant before getting married, knowing he had impregnated my mother and did not marry her. So this poem is about living up to his expectations. My mother had left Jamaica when I was 4 and handed me over to him. He was a hotelier, so he put me in boarding schools, and I lived in and out of his home until his death, shortly before my 20th birthday, living by his rules. Going back in time doesn't cost a dime. Sadly, painful memories may come to shine. Do you really want to go back there? Do you really want to lick your lips, your salty tears? I do, I do, I do. Mommy disappeared, no goodbye. Overseas she migrated, no goodbye. Daddy took over. Don't you cry, don't you cry, don't you cry. Single daddy, busy hotelier, no time spending nights or days with a lonely little preschool 5-year-old child. Boarding schools, children's laughter, children's tears, luscious garden, numerous fruit trees, plucking figs, picking mangoes, eating bird peppers. Years fly by. Prep school, high school, learning quickly, library, brain cobbling up books, Greek adventures, Homer, Hardy Boys, Agatha Christie, Perry Mason, Mickey Spillane, romantic, Mills and Boone. Daddy provided all your needs: food, housing, clothes, books, lots of advice. Early Sunday mornings, Daddy got you out of bed, sent you off to church to nourish your soul. Hard-working Daddy returned to bed to rest. Love, prayers, faith, God, belief, sacrifice, forgiveness. Words you learned in church. Words stamped onto your brain, on your inner soul, paving the way within your mind to grow into an adult, thoughtful, honest, and kind. Good that he sent you. You learned to forgive him for countless unearned beatings. You did well, girl, staying focused on your education, aiming at getting a good earning profession, leading to financial emancipation and bodily freedom. You did well, girl, living by his rules. His well-meaning words of wisdom, a friendly smile opens all doors. Manners and respect will get you through this world. Even a dog is worthy of respect. Treat all people equally. Give to the needy. Give help to the poor, aged and poor. You did well, girl, living by his rules. High school graduation, Daddy happy, Daddy proud. You did well, girl, living by his rules. No boyfriend, no opposite sex intimacy, no letting him down with teenage pregnancy. You did well, girl, living by his rules. College completed, working executive secretary, earning your own money, still living by his rules. Abiding by the books, past time, creative writing, learning to cook, thinking of his words as you go from childhood, teenager to young adult. Whatever you put in your head, no man can take away. So keep on learning, never stop, were some of the words of wisdom Daddy would say. You did well, girl, living by his rules. 20 years old and never been kissed, knowing if you did, Daddy would be pissed. You did well, girl, living by his rules. Though your lyrics were full of longing for love, you did well, girl, living by his rules. Almost 20, Daddy got shot. Daddy immediately died. Deep down I feel, happily knowing he did his best to make you independent, strong, loving, virtuous woman. He died being proud of you all his life, all your life, always living by his rules, living by his rules. My next poem is titled Creation. Living granules swimming in the chalky juice enter the vacuum created by the delicious capsule. The docile eggs anointed in time will float in delicate cells balanced by lasso, and in time will become the future, another life. After yet more time, will one day become history, the past, crumble into ashes. Being from the Caribbean, where Blacks were imported from Africa and forced to do slavery work, in school, teaching about our slavery history, I was naturally moved, like most of my school friends, when we saw pictures of the slave ship, the way the slaves were placed in the cargo, like packed like sardines, and heard about the punishments meted out to them. My next poem was inspired by that, and it's titled Unjust Punishment. It tells of a slave master who killed his slave, even though he would rather have kept him to do, naturally, the manual work. As the pain soars, heart sends tears, anger roars, hate grows. Powerful limbs receive blows upon blows, heavy, cruel blows. He does not dare let his face show. He doesn't want his heart to grow fondly, full of pity. He doesn't want his victim to know that he'd rather not torture him. So tears flow hidden inside, because the stubborn brain of Bakramasa shouts, set an example must be set. Your overseer, your slaves must fare your power. Thus, he takes it further. Skin stretches, limbs are torn, as the expensive, giant, silent, martyred, proud slave finally dies. The master marches away. He inwardly, bitterly cries. An example had to be set. So he consoles himself. So he justifies his unjust punishment. After that heavy poem, I'm going to do a little naughty little poem. You know, adults always talk about sex, so children grow up hearing about sex, and maybe that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of children have sex before, you know, or at least I should say while they're still in school, because adults paint too great a picture of sex, and so children want to try out what they paint. Although I was virgin until I was 20, or at least during the time my father was alive, I still, you know, one day thought, you know, looking at my grandparents, how loving they were to each other. You know, this naughty little thought entered my brain. You know, I imagined my grandfather telling my grandmother that he's now impotent. She was blind, he was blind, and she was lame towards the end of their lives when they were over 80, going on 90s. It's titled Old Love. Like cowardly soldiers, our energies have deserted. You can't bear me up, nor can I keep it up. So let's just kiss and fondle each other's bundle. Think of the fun we had when young. Ah. For my German listeners, I'll do this poem in German. Verliebte Alte. Wie feige Soldaten, unsere Energien sind desertiert. Du kannst mich nicht hochhalten. Ich kann dich nicht hochkriegen. So, lass uns nur küssen, einander rumfummeln, denken den Spaß wir hatten, als wir noch verliebt ineinander waren. Ah. My next poem is about a blind or partly blind former colleague. I used to admire the way he would work the switchboard with his fingers. He would come to me and ask me to read things on cassette for him because he was studying part-time at the university. So this poem is a tribute to him. His name is Arvel Grant, and I've titled the poem Arvel. I used to pity you, for you cannot see. But although you're blind, you have a wonderful mind. You know me more than those with eyes can see. You hear the nuances in my voice. You know when I am high or low. You hear what makes me tick. You see me through your fingers which hold my hand, caress my cheek. You listen to me, you ask of me, 'cause you really want to know me, to be able to help me if need be. Their eyes look at me, see me. Their ears listen. They think they know me, but they don't, 'cause they only go skin deep. You go beyond into my mind, reading my voice, my touch, my laugh. You listen to the steps to know my mood of the moment. You are my friend. And I wish you could see the beauty surrounding you. But sometimes I am happy you can't, 'cause you would not like all that you could see and may lose your precious God-given gift of sensibility. My next poem is about mountain climbers, because we hear often in the news, and it happened even recently, that someone died while climbing a mountain during an avalanche. This poem is titled The Eiger and You. Seek an adventure. You climb the Eiger north wall. You want to stomp your feet on its peak. You want to feel the rock, see the rock spread out below your feet. You want the media to spread the word to all mankind that infinite you have conquered this deathly giant. You want to stretch your hands in the air, shouting out your delight that you have won the fight, boasting strength at having got that far. Your adrenaline pumped to the top in your uncertainty whether you will succeed to make it to the highest peak. You're praying that you won't choke to death in your rope, freeze in a snowstorm, still standing on your feet, or if you will fall, dropping onto the rocks, still dead. Your broken body facing the shocked stairs to lie below at frightened onlookers' feet, while the rescuers are moving above on their way, to lift your body. An unwelcomed adventure found you, conquered you. The mountain brought you to your knees. The Eiger mountain is alive, detesting the feet which keep beating, stomping, beating upon its soul. In its revenge to rid itself of intruders, it sheds its snowy clothing. Avalanche. Pebbles and stones rolling down are its teardrops dropping over you. You will be spread out at its feet. It will bring you to your knees. Craving for sensationalism, the media will gladly, eagerly spread the word. The Eiger mountain has conquered man again. Tranquility is regained. Everything seems so irreal, like magic. My next poem, Tactics, is just a little thing telling men that if you go to bed with a woman with whom you're not married, you really don't have the right to call her easy or cheap, unless you actually went to pay for a prostitute. Because a lot of men, they go to bed with a woman and then they choose to marry someone else because they say the one they went to bed with before was too easy. Well, this poem, I'm teaching you something else. It's called Tactics, because it works both ways. You sized me up, lusting. I smiled inwardly, waiting. My cool expression did not betray me, but I too wanted you. Your yearning gave your legs courage. They brought you to me way up close. You speeched me down. While your heart loaned your lips its voice, I felt your excitement, inhaled in sweet ecstasy your heavenly scent. I allowed you to court me. As I finally gave in, giving you my all, you began sticking out your chest like a proud cock, boasting to all your friends, stating, you captured me easily. Ha 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 ha, bullshit. You see, I too had eyed you lusting, wanting. Oh yes, I too wanted to possess you. Now I've got you. Ha. My last poem is titled Spirits. And that was also inspired by the slavery days, thinking of the slave ship as it sailed across the Middle Passage, which was the area the ship sailed to go from Africa to the New World. This poem is titled Spirits Talk to Me. Eyes closed, legs crossed. Over the Middle Passage, I sent my mind sailing on the vessel of deep meditation. Yes, I sat in a deep trance, working on a private seance. Spirits, spirits, spirits of the night, sit and talk to me. Spirits of the night, tell me, what do you see? Eyes closed, legs crossed, shooting across the sky, I sent my mind searching on the vessel of new revelation. Spirits, spirits of the night, sit and talk to me. Spirits of the night, tell me, what do you see? Will there be an end to the longest battle begun before the Son of God was born? Will World War III be so long and bloody? Will the bones of the dead circulate the earth? Spirits, spirits of the night, sit and talk to me. Spirits of the night, tell me, what do you see? Talk to me, spirits. Talk to me, spirits, spirits. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my poems. I hope you get inspired and I hope you liked at least a few of them.